I'm Dajuan Johnson. Welcome to the Think Bigger Actors podcast, where I share with you different kinds of talks and coachings and conversations with actors and industry professionals on thinking bigger. I hope these conversations will help you on your path to success, because I believe success is an inside job that starts with your mindset and the thoughts you hold dominant in your mind. Change your thoughts and you change your world. Your path to thinking bigger begins now.
Welcome back to the Think Bigger Actors podcast. I'm your host, Dajuan Johnson, and this is not a warning. I kind of wish I had like one of those special effects that I could go like one of those, I don't know what those are called, like sirens or something like that, because this is a serious warning right now. We are less than a month away from the Booked and Busy Actors Retreat that I'm hosting here in Los Angeles, the second annual one, the second one we've done. We did one last year, and I'm so excited about this. I got to tell you, it's going to be 3 days here in Los Angeles. You know, it's for the actor that wants to get ahead, that is tired of spinning your wheels, and not getting any traction. This is what I wish. This is what I wish I had when I was coming up the actor ladder. And I'm just going to be honest, like everything that I wanted, I'm still bringing into this room, and I'm still getting from this room as well, as because I'm going to be networking as well. I'm going to be having these casting directors and agents and managers and people in the room so that I can also network as well. But I am also doing it with you. And it's going to be an intimate setting where you can act, where there's networking, where there's building real community and connections, and at an insanely affordable, investment. So I want to see you in this room. I really want to see you in this room, seriously. So DM me and let me know, what I've got to do to get you in this room, to take this big jump for your career. I don't think actors really understand what it's like to sit right in front of a showrunner and have them tell you what exactly they were looking for on their show, or what they look for to take to another show. What, a casting director is really sitting in an intimate setting and saying, this is what works in your self-tapes. This is what doesn't work, and I really think that's important. I also have a head of theatrical agent that's going to be there, and 2 managers that are going to be there. It's really, really, really good. And it's like, it's one of those things that that I wish I wanted, but I just can't explain the quantum leaps you make when you have this type of information and when you're sitting in front of it. So I don't know, DM me, let me know what's up. Let me know like what it is that you need to get you in the room, to get you in this room, because I really think it's great. We have actors flying in from all over, from Chicago, Nashville, Dallas, of course, here in Los Angeles, and so many other places. So it's going to be big. This is your sign. This is your sign for your career. And all we're missing is you. Like I said, we got, directors, TV directors. It's going to be so much fun. So if you're looking for this, go to Booked and Busy Actors Retreat. bookedandbusyactorsretreat.com, and just grab a ticket. And if you can't find it, DM me and let me know. You know how to get a hold of me and all that good stuff. So I'm just so excited. The lanyards came in, the little notepads and swag and all that stuff came in, and so. Oh my gosh, I'm getting ready. I'm getting butterflies. I got to get up there and talk, and I got to give mindset stuff. So it's going to be great. Oh, another big thing is my Disney show premiered, Electric Bloom. I couldn't say so much about it before, and I'm so happy that it's here. It's been a year in the making. Literally, you all, I booked this last June, was my first self-tape for it. And then I think at the end of June of last year, I did a director, studio, network, all those that kind of stuff. I did that at the end of June. I think I booked it after the 4th of July of last year, and we got on it. We started shooting, and it's just been go. So, I'm really excited that it's here. I'm excited that you got to see it. Dajuan do comedy. You don't get to see me do comedy a lot, and I got to be honest with you, and I'll talk about this in a mini-sode, but like I felt a little bit out of my depth because, again, you get me in a drama or a dramedy, that's my lane, but doing comedy, it's something I've always wanted to do, and the fact that I got to do it and be this principal and really, really rock with these awesome actors, these kid actors, was a dream. And I'm just going to say it. I think I did an amazing job. I think I'm doing an amazing job. We have a lot more episodes, to be revealed. But if you saw some of them, the funniest ones are out right now, which I really love. And I think you just find your stride. So I hope you'll take a look at it and you'll let me know what you're thinking. So we got a great episode for you today. So we got a great episode for today. So I'm going to just let you know, this is a powerful one. This is a good one. I don't even bring on people that aren't good and powerful. So I'm just going to, let's just call that what it is. Let's just call that one what it is. I have so much fun over here by myself. I hope you guys have fun with me. I hope you guys are just not like calm down, just get to the episode. No. It's like my own little view of, ABC The View, or this is my own little part of it. Like I get to talk about this stuff. And guess what? We're about to talk about the guest, and I haven't talked about politics. So boom goes the dynamite. Okay. I crack myself up. Today's episode is brought to you by Casting Networks. Casting Networks helps performers find great roles and industry professionals find great talent. You can create a profile, upload your photos and reels, find an agent, and submit to thousands of projects. Your next role could be just a few clicks away. So for a limited time, Casting Networks is offering our listeners $65 off a premium annual membership when you use the code ThinkBigger at checkout. You can start submitting to casting calls right away. Terms and conditions apply. So visit www.castingnetworks.com/promo-codes to learn more. All right, today's guest, we have Denise Sanchez, and Denise and I go way back. We first met on a Bank of America commercial. I gotta say that was years ago. It was after the pandemic, right? After the pandemic, I don't even think we had a full conversation. I mean, it was little pieces of it because we were working, we're back and forth, but a full conversation. But her energy is infectious and it's stuck with me. And the next thing I know, she's a series regular on Bosch, the spinoff. So I think the Bosch Legacy, the spinoff, and I remember us having a brief conversation about I was on Bosch or maybe something like that, but I don't remember us having a full in-depth conversation. And then she goes and books the series regular. Did she know about that? No, I don't think she knew about that. I think she just that was an audition that came up later. So in this episode, Denise gets real about the part of the journey that doesn't make it onto the IMDb page. You know what I'm talking about? We talk about the day she sat in her car after a rough audition, completely done, burnt out, questioning everything. And we talk about what happened next, how she rebuilt herself, how she rebuilt her belief, shifted her mindset and walked right into this, the season of her biggest bookings yet. So I think this is a really good one. This one is full of truth and the kind of reminder every actor needs to hear, but especially you're not starting over. That's what I want to tell. I tell all my actors in my first team collective, you are not starting over. You are starting from experience. Come on. All right, I'm already preaching. Let's get into it. Oh, and you're not going to want to miss this D12 shot. Stick around to the end for the D12 shot where I bring it all together. Hey, Denise Sanchez, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
So good. I'm so happy you're here. So happy to be talking about Bosch and Bosch Legacy and the world of acting. But first, I think we need to talk about Bank of America.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
If I remember correctly, and my mind does fail me sometimes, you and I met on the set of a Bank of America commercial before you booked Bosch. Is that correct? Am I making that up?
No, that's right. That's actually a few months before I booked before I booked Bosch, you and I were shooting.
Yeah. Do you remember that? I just remember being on that set, being a little bit annoyed. Do you know what I mean? Being a little bit annoyed, but I hope I wasn't, I'm never really mean or anything like that to anything, but what was your experience of that, me and all that stuff? What was your experience of it?
I actually remember you being very pleasant. You were so positive. I know I was having a hard time. It was a lot of things going on at the moment personally, but also just shooting wise. And you were great. Everybody was great. It was just an interesting experience overall with that,
Yeah.
specific production. So I'll leave it at that.
We'll leave it at that. But it was a very interesting, and I was kind of like, okay, all right, so
Yeah,
that
and then to kind of see the end product is like, oh my God.
right?
Yeah, after all we did to just kind of see the what it came to be, I was like, we were,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It was very, very interesting. But commercials and theatrical, everybody out there listening, are two different beasts. And no matter if you have worked for a while or haven't worked for a while, whatever, like commercials, they'll humble you. They'll
Yeah,
humble you.
oh, they will humble you real quick. They will humble you real fast.
Commercials will humble you. I was like, oh, no, no trailer? You want me to sit in the middle of the street? In the middle of the street. Okay. Like,
Oh, okay, so we have to like run from the sun and like hide under trees for
like,
shade.
it was like, okay, it's all good.
Yeah,
It's all good. That is awesome. So let's jump into Bosch, because I mean, there's more to talk about, but
right,
I want to talk about Bosch and Bosch Legacy. So shortly after that Bank of America commercial, you auditioned for Bosch Legacy.
right,
Tell me about that process, because you just met me, and I was on Bosch, and
right.
I might have said something. I don't know if I did or not. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you did. You had mentioned that you had just come off a show called Bosch, and I had previously auditioned for Bosch, the original series, and always got close, but never booked it. And so when I talked to you about it, I was like, oh my gosh, yes, I've auditioned for that show several times, and I knew that it was ending. And one of the roles I believe that I went out for the last time before Bosch officially ended, I think it was probably like one of the last episodes. I was going to be a audition to become a waitress. Eventually, I got the avail, but then they went on a different direction, and I was like, all right, the show's over. Boom, I booked the Merrill Lynch Bank of America commercial. I meet you, and I'm like, oh wow, like you're telling me all about it. I was like, yeah. Um, and then when I flash forward, I believe it was about 3 or 4 months. It was very soon after that I ended up booking Bosch Legacy. And I remember I was like, oh my God, literally, I was just talking to Dajuan about this. Like, this is crazy, small world. So, yeah, let's see. The audition, it kind of, I just remember when I got the script, I was like, oh, this is right up my alley. This is in my wheelhouse. I've gone out, auditioned for several things of this nature. And I remember I was just kind of at my wit's end where I was getting callbacks, check the dates, but never booking. And I was like,
Yeah.
what can I do differently? What
Mhm.
am I missing? Is it
Mhm.
an age thing? Is it a look thing? Is it I'm shooting it weirdly? I don't know. Like, so I remember we had we I had done it a couple times and I just wasn't feeling it. And at this point I was like running back to my computer and looking at it. I was like, man, if after the fifth take I don't got it, I need to stop because
Right.
I'm missing something. And then finally, I think it was like the last take, especially I think it was this one part because it was very physical. Maddie and I were going to go into a hotel where there was a domestic dispute. And it was just I was getting used to the self-tape world more and I was like, how do I make this stand out? And I was like, you know what? Hold the camera and follow me. And
Mhm. Mhm.
I'm just gonna go for it. So it was like boom, 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 and I, knocked on the make believe door, and I slammed my hand against it, and I made the noise, and I can't remember what the lines were, but it was like, freeze, blah 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 blah, and then I just threw myself on the ground,
Yeah.
and I rolled around, and it was the most fun I had because I was like, I'm just letting it go. At this point, I've done it like 5 times. I'm tired. I don't want to keep doing this again. But I remember um, when I edited it and I sent it off, I felt really good about it. I'm like, that
Yeah.
looked unhinged.
Yeah. Yeah.
It looked a little crazy, and sometimes I
Mhm.
tend to play it a little safe.
Mhm.
Like cheat to the camera, right your angle, find your eye line, did it. And I was like, I wasn't looking necessarily anywhere specific, but the emotion was there,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
fear, the adrenaline was there, and then yeah, and then I sent it in, and then um, yeah, I got a call back, and then I was really nervous because it was through Zoom.
Wow. Yeah. Zoom callbacks around that
Yes,
time.
yeah, it was. I was
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
through Zoom, and whew, I was just, it's something about waiting in a virtual room
Yeah.
that you're in your own space and you're like, okay, is the lighting right? Like I'm responsible now for everything, the sound, the lighting, how the
Yeah.
camera. And I thought to myself, I was like, they didn't say which scenes they wanted to put up. So I was like, how am I going to make this action scene
Yeah.
after I had, my reader do all of that for me? How am I going to make this look flawless? And I just went for it. Like, I think I slammed in the back of my backdrop. At the time it was paper. It wasn't this. So it, like, when I hit the back of it, it just was, I was like, please don't follow me because this is going to be the worst.
Yeah.
And then we did all the scenes, and that was about it. And then I didn't hear anything for like 5 weeks.
Wow.
So I was just
5 weeks.
like, yeah.
Were you in the on hold for it or pinned for it in those 5 weeks, or you just heard nothing for 5 weeks?
My team, eventually I learned that my team had heard something back.
That you're in the mix.
But that I'm in the mix, but they didn't actually tell me until they were like, I think, obviously, because they, protocol, I guess, for them, and they were just kind of like, oh, let's just wait, but keep the dates open, and then I got it. And yeah.
It's so interesting. Let me back up a little bit here because one of the things in the audition part of this is, we are always told, don't do this, don't do that. I just saw something on the internet yesterday, don't walk into frame. And I was like, what are you talking about? Don't walk into frame. I was like, why are you doing this? And I was like, no. And so what was your mindset, I guess, to get you to that place to quote unquote break the rules? Because there aren't any rules, but you kind of were like, I'm probably just going to go for it.
Yeah. I think every time I looked at the playback, I'm like, this looks boring, and this it needs action. I'm and it felt very robotic. Every time I was doing it, I was like, I'm disassociating because I'm trying to hit the mark. I'm trying to get my key, and I was like, it looks boring. I know when I read it, I'm like, I know what the scene is. Like, if I was on set, I know what I would do with my body, how I'd posture myself. I was like, but because it's so limited, with the setup that I had at the time. Now I've evolved a little bit more because we've been doing this for a while now. But at the time, it was pretty much just the camera on a tripod and do the best you can. So it was just looking at the playback and just being like, no, this isn't. It's not giving. Literally, it wasn't giving. I was like, it wasn't giving. I was just like, so on the final take, I was like, if I don't get this, I'm done. And it was just kind of like, and that was a huge lesson for me because I think so often in self-tapes, we do it over and over and over and over again. And it's fine. There's nothing wrong with that, especially, do what you can. But I think something happens in that, well, I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Or I'll bring the energy towards the end because then I'm tired. And just start with that energy, not the tired energy, but the like, I'm leaving it on the floor now.
Yeah.
First take,
I try to do 3 to 5. That's it. If I'm getting to 5, I haven't done enough prep work.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? For me to do it. And so if I started to see when I get to like 4 and 5, I'm like splitting hairs. I'm like, I said the instead of the, like,
yeah. And you know what's so funny? After doing so many takes, I always end up usually going with the first couple ones that I did anyway. Which is like, because like you said, by the end, I'm just analyzing and I can tell that I'm not thinking about it and I'm trying to do something different when really my instincts were pretty spot on the first time. And going back to this audition tape with Bosch, it was like, it wasn't that the initial takes were bad. It was because it was the physicality. And that's so important when it comes to anything physical. People kind of get in their heads about if it's a fight scene or there's walking and talking. There's so many things that I learned from that experience that I could do to give the energy, but not necessarily if you don't have the equipment or you don't have the extra person or what have you, that'll feed it.
Do what you can. You did it in the callback. You did what you did. So we had Tom Bernardo on. Don't know if you listened to his episode. And he had something to say about it. So we're gonna listen to a little bit of that. Let me put your thumbs up when it starts. Let me know if you can hear this.
Okay.
And to do it time and time again, to feel like you're just putting it out into the world and you have no idea. But I can talk about Denise Sanchez, who's now Reina Vasquez, who is, okay, so we have 3 major characters on Bosch. There's obviously Harry Bosch. There is Mimi Rogers as Honey Chandler. Was a once sort of adversary of Bosch's, and she's a lawyer and now kind of an uneasy ally at times. And then we have Harry's daughter, played by the great Madison Lintz. Now, Maddie, she plays Maddie Bosch. That character became a cop, and we wanted to team her with, her Paul Calderon. You know what I mean? Like somebody who's just different in terms of tone, personality, everything, history, etc. Well, when we were finally getting the reads for that, I saw Denise, and what I loved about her was the scene was about her and Maddie responding to a domestic dispute, and a fight breaks out. Mm-hmm. And Denise is performing this by herself.
Yeah.
She threw herself on the ground and rolled around and acted it out. And I'm like, I love this. You know, she didn't have to do that.
Right, and you could see this in frame.
I could see this in frame.
Right.
And she didn't quite have a police uniform, but she wore something that kind of was supposed to be that. Mm-hmm. So I got a sense of like her buy-in immediately.
Right.
And one, she was terrific. Mm-hmm. Like she was in terms of look and age and all that stuff. And she had chops and she was really good. And but that I would always remember that because I was like, this is a person who will abandon herself to the imaginary circumstances of the story.
Yeah.
You know, and that moved me because I was like, she's not only great and good, she believes it. Yeah. And that's what you want, you know? And we just wrote a big part for her in the third season. Mm-hmm. She was only supposed to be, not only supposed to be because she was so good as soon as she showed up, but you know, Maddie is the third sort of this three-hander. She's, you know, a big part of that. And Reina Vasquez is kind of like her mentor figure, a little bit, you know, her PO, or training officer rather, or TO. But she got so good that we had this whole storyline in season 3 that involved them responding to these sort of follow home robberies where people were being targeted.
What do you think about this? About your self-tape, huh? I just not a gotcha moment. It was just I just wanted to set it up because I think sometimes as actors, I'm sure you know, Tom, you might have already heard this story, you know, from Tom because he loves to, you know, he pours into his actors a lot.
Yeah, absolutely.
But just to be able to hear it again, that you took a risk and somebody was like, fuck yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I have seen that. One of my friends sent it to me because I was having a very low day. Like I was just coming down on myself so hard over a self-tape and just the state of the industry. And then she sent that to me. She was just like, did you not see this? And I was like, no. And, you know, I watched it and first of all, I love him. He's so good to work with. He's so good to work with. And to hear him say that he has told me that a version of that before, but you know, as an actor, I should just speak for myself. So often when I get a compliment, I just think they're being nice. Not that I don't believe in my work. I know what I bring to the table, but sometimes I'm just like, maybe they're just filling time or space or, and just in general, I feel like sometimes it can be hard for me to take the compliment because I've prided myself on like kind of just head down, keep working. You don't need to hear all that noise, you know, just do your job. And so I have heard him say that before, but for some reason hearing him say that on your podcast, it was like, oh, like not that he meant it, not that I ever believed it, and not that I ever thought that he wasn't telling the truth, but it was like, oh, wow. Like, yeah. That was beautiful to hear. And it kind of just speaks to like what I was saying earlier. It was just, I love hearing that.
Well, I just want to throw in there that, you know, what you said is people are just trying to be nice. He's not trying to be nice. He had a whole story that moved him about it, right? That it's being nice is like, oh yeah, you did a great job, right? Or you did something like that. This is somebody who came in front of an audience of people and shared this story with me, who's also, you know, been on Bosch before. Right. And, you know, so it's one of those things that like you can understand this, Denise, you're not going to get every role.
Right. Yep.
You're not going to knock it out of the park, maybe every single self-tape, but you do know that you can fucking act.
Yeah.
You do know that you can, you know, bring it. And like everybody on their job doesn't bring it every single day.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? We all think we gotta be perfect every single day. You know what I mean? But I think you can walk away just knowing that like, yeah.
That's exactly right. And his words carry a lot of weight for me because obviously I respect him and he's such a great guy. And just to kind of hear him say it on your platform was like, oh, wow. It was nice to hear it. And I definitely have it saved for days where I'm not feeling so great.
Just go back and listen to it.
And I was hoping to listen to this.
Go back and listen to it. That's one of those things that, sometimes when I have a wall over here that you can't see, I'll show you in just a sec, but it's a feel good wall. Like, you know
Okay.
what I mean? And so I have like
Yeah.
all 7 of my hats from Bosch. I have my my
Oh,
my my sign, my NCIS, you know what I mean? So I can
yeah.
remember, you can remind yourself, oh, I have worked,
Right.
and I will work again. That the little gremlin tells you you're not, but
Yeah.
like, all of a sudden, so um okay. You don't
Okay.
have to answer this next question.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
you don't have to answer
Oh,
this.
here we go.
Did you watch The Mothership before you started Legacy?
A few episodes. I didn't watch it through because I had auditioned for the original series a few times. So I did watch a few episodes, you know, did my research, but I didn't watch it through from
Yeah,
season one
yeah,
to seven. Yeah, I did.
yeah.
Yeah. But I did,
It's a
when I
lot.
booked the show, I did watch the last season just to kind of see where we were headed. Once I booked the show, I was like, all right, I gotta lock in.
Yeah. I'm sorry. You know what? Listen, I was on the show and I didn't watch it.
Yeah.
Like, well, because everybody was always like, "Why didn't you watch it?" I was like, to be
Yeah.
honest with you, I read all the scripts as they were coming out, and of course, I want to see how they were like, done. But I would watch it in spurts instead of
Sure.
like everybody was watching it when it came out, the same thing. But we were living it. You know what I mean? We were absolutely living it. So,
Right.
and it's great. It holds up great. It's amazing. I actually
Right.
love it. I have seen it now.
Sure.
Now that we're done, we're on the other side of that. So, so that every actor that we know is all about getting the series regular. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? It's like, I'm a series regular, all that stuff like that. And Reina Vasquez was a series regular. So, I mean, how did you feel? How was your road to series regular?
Well, so here's the thing. I was not a series regular.
Oh, I got
Yeah.
that wrong. I thought we talked
That's
about that at
no, I was
at the
supposed to
arc
be.
light.
I was supposed to be for the
Oh,
following for season four.
okay. I
Yeah,
was like, I'm so
yeah.
sorry. I was like, guys, I thought we talked about that when we were at the.
No, no, I was supposed to be series regular by season four, which obviously we got canceled, so that never came to be. But I was on every episode from
Yeah.
season one to three. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. As a recurring top of show guest.
yes,
Yes. I mean, that's what I was. For sure,
yeah,
recurring top of show guest. So I didn't know, but that is very interesting. You were on that, and you did. I mean, like you had your own story. You had your own thing.
yeah. I got a title
Wow.
card.
Huh?
I got a title card.
Yeah. How does that feel? How does that feel? Like, I mean, like as it's all done, yeah. How does it feel?
How does it feel to like have finished the show?
No, just like have your own title card, feel like you're doing it, and like
It
like
feels incredible. Like
yeah.
I still can't get over it. Like it feels like so long ago, but such a big part of my life. And kind of looking back, and I'm like, wow, that happened.
Yeah.
And I definitely have like pinch me moments, especially when I'm on Amazon and I'll see like a little blurb and I'll see my name or I'll see
Yeah.
my
Oh,
picture
I
or
know,
like,
right?
yeah, I'm just like, oh my God, that's me. Or, or
Yeah.
like, some friends will, or, from high school or middle school or like my family in Peru, they have been watching it and they will send me screenshots or like, TVs and their television screens. And I'm like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
It's sometimes like that happened.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
happened because when you're in the thick of it, you're just working. You're
Yeah.
rehearsing, you're working, you're doing your research, you're living the life, and then when the season's done, you have somewhat of a break, and you're kind of doing different projects in between commercials, and then you go back to it. But this one, because of the abrupt end, it was kind of like, oh, I was still on this like ride, and then
Yeah. Yeah.
it's kind of coming down a little bit. But yeah, I can look back and look at it so fondly and be very happy and proud,
Yeah.
especially with this last season. This
Really good.
last season
Mhm.
was like, I mean, all the seasons were great, but for me personally, it was such a beautiful way to see it off. So
Yeah. I wish you guys, well, I mean, there's petitions out there. If anybody's
yes,
listening to this,
there is.
there are petitions out there to bring more, to do more. And, I think it's phenomenal. And there was a spinoff coming from that, Ballard,
Yes,
from your
yes.
legacy and stuff like so. The universe is not
The
done.
universe is not done.
The
No, it's
universe
out
is
there.
not
Yeah.
done. And so I'm always kind of like, that it could, something could happen. That's all I always put it out there. If Malcolm in the Middle came back, this can
Listen, okay.
that could come back. Hey, it's Dajuan, and I want to talk to you actor to actor. If you've been grinding, auditioning, taping, and still wondering when it's finally going to click? I created something for you. It's called the Booked and Busy Actors Retreat, and it's happening August 22nd through August 24th right here in Los Angeles. And this isn't just another event, it's a reset. 3 days in person here in Los Angeles. And the room, it's going to be filled with casting directors, agents, working series regulars, and actors like you who are done playing small. You could be one of the actors who gets their self-tapes reviewed live. You could be one of the actors sitting across from reps in a mock meeting. And no matter what, you'll be creating, connecting, and walking away with a roadmap that's built around the work you put in that weekend. No more DMs into the void. No more wondering if they saw your tape. No more feeling like you're doing this all alone. And let me tell you, last year, actors called this retreat transformational, generous, the most real actor experience they ever attended. And this year, you know we're going to go even deeper. We'll work on mindset, sharpening your craft, and making sure that you walk back into this industry, you do it with confidence, clarity, and a circle that has your back. This is where you stop waiting to be picked and start showing up all like you already booked it. So go to www.bookedandbusyactorsretreat.com to claim your seat. Again, that's www.bookedandbusyactorsretreat.com. Seats are intentionally limited, so if this sounds like your next move, trust that feeling. I'll see you there.
So I've been very honest about this on my podcast, about going through a major depression after I finished Bosch. And I didn't really know I was in a major depression until like I was in it and I was like, oh, something's going on. And everybody was like, well, what do you have to be depressed about? And I was like, well, I finished my show in a pandemic. What I had always been told was that we're going to go from show to show to show. And then during the pandemic, everybody's out of work.
Yeah.
Everybody's out of work with me. And then they're trying to get parts and stuff like that. And it just didn't happen the way I had, done it in my head. And nobody had ever told me how to grieve a character you played for 7 years. To grieve, like now that's a loss or that thing. And so I don't know if you went through any of that. Did you feel that? I mean, you went through 3 years of playing Reina. Like how was your ending offboarding experience for that?
It's hard.
Yeah.
I think even now, I'm still going through the grieving process. I didn't have Raina as long as you had your character for 7 years. I had mine for 3, but it's just kind of like grieving what could have been. I feel like I was just starting to get my footing. And I became a family with them so quickly, like production, everybody just, and so because it was so abrupt, a lot of things were left unsaid. So it was just sad. And it's weird. My grieving process is weird because when I remember I found out, I think immediately I was like, well, on to the next, and soldier on. And then as the weeks went on, I was like, oh, we would have started production now. Oh,
Yeah.
I would have, started, tactical training, and I would, all the things that came with it, and
Wardrobe and everything.
like figuring out your look for
Yeah.
the season, and so then it reared its ugly head again. I was just like, I'm not fine. Oh, I'm not okay. And all the plans that you have, financially, all the plans that you have, where you thought your career was going to go, and not to say that it's not going to happen. I truly believe things will happen for me, for everybody, but I cannot stress this enough, like just how sudden it was.
Yeah.
Didn't give me the opportunity to just make peace with it. And so I would love to say I'm in a better place. I am, but sometimes I think about it, I'm still in touch with a lot of the people from production. We're still really good friends.
Yeah.
Family for life. But yeah, I mean, I think it's also, a lot of us are struggling in different departments in this industry. So we all have each other to lean on. But specifically for this, it was like, damn.
Yeah.
Like it was just like, damn.
I hope people that listen to this story, as why I keep talking about it on multiple podcasts, because I don't know which one you're going to listen to if you're not listening to all of them, about this, because, you're like, oh, but it's just a character, but like you like live with this character, like, you know what I mean? Like it becomes a part of you. And this family that you see, like, oh, great. I knew I was going to see them from July to
Yes.
November or December. Like I knew that was going on for 7 years, And so you get used to them. You see people grow up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maddie was young.
I know. I know. Yeah. It's one of the things that like I know other actors in this industry and other people in production have gone through this loss. I'm not the only one,
Right, right.
obviously. But
Mhm.
there's a big way that it feels lonely
Mm.
because when I would express my confusion, my frustration, my sadness, but then also this weird feeling of like, okay, well, now my year is opened up. What
Mhm,
else is
mhm.
there? So it was a weird place to be. And I remember when I would express my disappointment, and I know my friends didn't mean it, but I know they would be like, well, I mean, at least you had a show. And I would always be like, it's not that I'm not grateful for the experience. Two things can be true, right?
Yep.
I
Yep.
can grieve this loss and be in this confused state of confusion, sadness, and displacement, really, and then not and understand and value that I was on a show, but this is a loss. And so a lot of my
Mhm.
friends would be like, but well, at least, and I'm like, at least nothing. I can have this and want more. There's nothing wrong with that. And so I remember I just kind of shut down from a
Yeah.
lot of my close friends because I'm like, I don't want to be like, you don't get it. That sounds kind of whatever. But I'm like, but you don't though. Because until you've gotten something so beautiful and successful and to have it go away, I can't share this conversation with you because you're not, I don't need your opinion. I just need you to listen.
Yeah, I don't think people have to go through it per se.
Yeah.
I think people like go through it, get something beautiful. Like I love what you're saying, but I think people actually just have to stop thinking of themselves and start listening
Yeah.
more. That's
Yeah.
you don't need to go through like I don't. Some people tell me stuff, and all I was just say I'm so sorry that happened to you.
Right. And I
Do you
think
know what
that's
I
what I
mean?
needed because I'm like, I agree. I don't necessarily think that they need to go through it, but I'm just like,
Yeah.
you're missing the point.
Yep. Missing the point.
You're
Yeah.
missing the point.
Right.
And so I think a big part of my trying to get over this was like, let me just stop talking about it.
Yep. Yep.
Let me just stop talking about it. Let me just not share this with anybody. And I think that's where I became very lonely because I'm like,
Mm.
I can't talk about this with anybody because it sounds like I'm complaining about something that was actually really beautiful. I'm like, I am, but it's complicated. It's
I
complicated.
think it's complicated, but I think it's very on brand because I think in the business, like sometimes if I said something about payment, right? And they're
Mm,
like, but you're getting $10,000 an episode. And I'm like, no, but what you don't understand is like said person is getting 20,000 and
right,
they were
right, right.
here and they're like, well, what do but you're still getting, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh, you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
sometimes money can be like that as well. So
Yes,
you just got to
absolutely.
find the people. I'm going to say find the people you can discuss this stuff with. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Because that's the part of the depression I went through
Yes.
because nobody talked about that with me, right? And
Hmm.
nobody just said, "Hey, you're going to get off a show and just in case you don't go straight to another show, there might be a lull and in that lull, stuff might come up,
Right. Right.
and come up tsunami like but I
Yeah.
think it was great. I think it was all perfect that I went through that because by the time I got to come back and be on Legacy,
Hmm.
I got to do that. I had made amends, right?
Sure.
And I think my character was a different person by that time when I came back and recurred on there. So
Yeah. Yeah.
it was just a beautiful, beautiful time for that. So, um, I'm not going to give you the whole what's next. You know what I mean? 'Cause- Do
You
you hate
tell
that
me.
question?
Yeah, it's a lot of pressure because it's like if you have nothing going on, it's just like, what do you say? But you want to fill that silence with something like positive, and you don't want to lie, but also you're just like, what if I just said, I don't know?
Yeah. What if I just said, I don't know?
I don't
You
know.
know, and that's beautiful, by the way.
Yeah.
And that's beautiful. And it has to be okay. That means
Yeah.
nothing more than just, I don't know. I don't know,
Yeah.
but I'm excited about it.
Yeah.
I'm excited about
Yeah.
that. So I think mindset, again, like this podcast is all about mindset and success and talking about it. And you have, it sounds like a good hold on mindset or a good understanding of mindset. Like, where's your mindset right now as it, does it keep you in the game? You know what I mean? Like what keeps, what's your thoughts that keep you in the game right now?
It's just kind of a knowing.
Hmm.
I think I'm so like
Good.
it's obviously there's ups and downs and not every day is the same, but there is this knowing, and I can't explain it, that the best I can describe it is like I'm confident in the work that I do.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, I have a great support system now, and so it's just relax.
Mm,
It's gonna
yeah.
come. Um, and I just know it. I just
Mm,
know something really major and great. Whether it's and it doesn't have to. And I also I think the biggest thing is I also took my mindset out of just making it about acting.
yeah.
Something major and beautiful is going to happen for me, and it doesn't necessarily have to mean acting. And
Mm,
as soon as I take that pressure off, it's like it can mean anything. Like it can
yeah.
mean a great opportunity to travel, or it can mean like something beautiful happens within my family, or take the energy and the pressure out of specifically this business, because I think for so often, especially we live in LA, everything, we're surrounded by entertainment. It could be so much of that,
Yeah.
where it's if you just kind of like think outside of that, this world, it'll just it'll be okay. It'll be okay.
Would you live anywhere else?
No. I
Ah!
know. No, I cannot leave this city. I love LA.
I mean, you said
LA.
Peru, so I was thinking.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I have, we're constructing a couple houses out there, and I definitely try to spend as much time out there as I can. And so eventually, yeah, down the road, there are more vacation homes than anything. And actually, to be honest, self-tapes are making everything so much easier.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think Peru is a little too far away, but I'm going to go at the end of the summer for a couple of months, a
Wasn't
couple,
that far? What is it, plane ride? Like 4 or 5 hours?
7 hours,
Wow.
7 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seven
Yeah.
hours.
So,
Okay.
but
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not leaving LA though. Like this is home base.
It's
I'm
home
so
base.
used to being here. I love LA.
I love LA too, by the way.
Yeah.
I love LA, but I will say this. I always thought I had to be here.
Mhm. Mhm.
With the advent of self tapes, the itch to live somewhere else and just see more of the world is calling me.
Yeah.
Like, do I want to live in Austin for a summer? Do I want to go to Boston? You know what I mean? Like, do I want to go? Like, if like we can do a self tape anywhere, we can get coached through our phones anywhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, why not give it a shot? Because I don't have to be in LA.
Right.
Like, right, so I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking
Yeah.
about it.
I
I don't
think the
know.
most is like maybe like move someplace like outside of the immediate LA area is the most I'll do.
Are
You
you talking
know,
about like San Diego or something like that? Or
yeah, something like that, just that's the most I'll move, but yeah, we'll see.
you're not going anywhere. Sounds like
Yeah,
sounds like sounds like
I am so hard pressed for LA. I love it here.
What do you think? I was just like, but honestly, like, what do you think like was the biggest mistake that you made in this industry, and what did you learn from it?
The biggest mistake I think was thinking that this was going to happen overnight.
Peak Denise.
Yo, I came to LA like, you guys have wait till you see me. And I remember one of my first acting coaches, God, when I first got here, he was just like, make sure that you guys are in it for the long haul, because like at best you guys will get some traction within 10 years. And
Wow.
you should have seen the way I was like, oh, this is not the teacher for me. He obviously doesn't get
He
it.
doesn't know.
Like
He
he
doesn't know. He
doesn't
doesn't
know.
know.
He doesn't know. He doesn't know. And then was absolutely right. And so I think that taught me, because I remember like within like the first 2 to 3 years, I was like, what's happening? Like, and there was just so much that I needed to learn as a woman being new in LA, growing experiences, meeting new friends, ups and downs that I think shaped what I would eventually bring to a script. For
Mhm.
me, I was just like, I learned a lot about myself. I met a lot of people. So whenever I would look at a script, I would start seeing things differently. experiencing things differently, bringing stories differently, but that took time.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'll look at old self tapes
Mm-hmm.
and I'll be like, what were you doing? Like, you know?
Well, you should though.
Yeah, oh,
I
absolutely.
think we should be growing, right?
It's such a beautiful thing. Like I laugh at it because I'm like, oh, that
Yeah.
was a choice. Like that was a choice. But like I look at it, I'm like, yeah, that was 5 years ago. You didn't have necessarily the life experience or the training or just how to handle a self tape at that point. So yeah, that makes sense that your look was too young for the role. You know, I can look back on it and be like, oh, I see why that didn't work out.
Mhm.
So yeah, I think my biggest mistake was thinking this is going to happen overnight. And it's
I
taught me
mean,
patience with myself.
I thought I was gonna get like discovered at a gas station or something. Like they were gonna,
No, listen,
they
I
were gonna.
came from Connecticut. And so I remember like there was like tons of like talent scouts out there that would
Yes,
do
yes.
that. You know, so I was like, I got this in the bag. Let me
Yeah,
move to New York. And then
yeah.
New York, I had some traction as a print model. So I was like, oh, LA is gonna be a breeze, you
Hmm.
know? And then I came out here and I was like, oh, like everyone's really good. So am I, but I want to be like that, like that. And it was great it was actually very humbling and a very um good for me, you know, to experience. I mean, I still experience that, man. I look at all my colleagues and my friends, and I'm like, wow, you guys. And except now, it's like more inspiration versus like um, self comparison. You know,
Hey, Denise, you know people are looking at you like that now too.
isn't that weird?
It is so weird.
Yeah,
I'm gonna like, I got a couple more questions for you, and
yeah.
I was just thinking, um, when you get a script, when you get some sides, what's the first thing you do? How do you prepare?
Um, let's see. I just got one recently. So what I'll do is I'll read it once through, just kind of like glaze over it, kind
Hmm.
of. Then I'll go back and I'll look at the log line, look
Hmm.
at my character breakdown, and then I'll just kind of like leave it. I just like to look at it because then I'll pick up some things and then I'll do my chores around the house or I'll run some errands, but it's always in the back of my head.
Yeah, of course.
And then probably later that night, I'll look at it and I will make notes as I go. When I'm fully sitting down and reading it, what's my first hit?
Hmm.
And obviously, sometimes it'll be answered within the script, but I'm like, what is my first instinct?
Hmm.
And then I'll go through it, and then I do like a lot of meditative things with it. Like once I read it, I'll put it down again, and I'm like, okay, considering what the character breakdown is, how do you think she would approach this? Not Denise, and then okay, now how would Denise approach it? Now how can we meld it to be realistic for you? And then I'll go in and start actually being punctual about the words and the moments and the beats and stuff like that. Um, but I'm big on like once that process has happened, I will work on it for like 2 hours and then I won't touch it for like 2 days if I have the time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because I'm very big on like I used to do this thing where I was just like rote memory, like just
Hmm.
and then I just wouldn't retain anything, or if I did, it was jumbled. Um, so it's very important for me to read it and then just step away. I'm
Hmm.
constantly stepping away.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and then when it comes down to it, like if it's like the day before, that's when I'll really, really, really officially settle in to honor the words exactly how they're written, and then yeah, just
Yeah.
go for it.
I think it's so interesting. It's one of the things I do that you said as well is I believe that actors have pulled themselves so far out of their artistry because they're worried about what the showrunner wants or what the
Mhm.
director wants or what the casting director wants. And there is no way we know. We
Mm,
don't know. We're just like we're like thinking we know. And I think with self tapes, one of the big things that 5 years ago that I was like, oh, you know what you're not doing, Dwan? Asking yourself, what would you like to do here? Right? I understand we got to get the character and you're
yeah,
not a detective or whatever like that, but like, how do you see it? How do you want to do that? Because that is, I believe, your je ne sais quoi.
yes, a
Everybody's
thousand percent, yeah,
everybody's like, oh, you bring more of you to the role, bring more of you to the role, and that's because we put ourselves away, so much. And so that's one of the biggest things I would say. I love to hear you say that because I do mesh it, but I really want to ask myself, what do you think of this? Because
yeah,
my experiences, my perspective, nobody else is going to have that. You know what I
exactly.
mean? And all that stuff like that. So,
That's why like when I read the script and I write my first instinct to like that response or like why like
yeah.
I write that down because so often like you'll go through the script and you kind of forget about it because you're kind of reading it, and then you're just kind of without meaning to, you're taking in all this information, and you're okay, this is what I read in the log line, okay, this is what the character, and so I wanted to just be clear. Denise, what did you think about that? What questions came up for you? How does that feel when that person said that? Da, da, da.
Yes.
And I'll make notes because I'm like, that's the first hit you get.
Yes.
That's your instinct, Denise coming through. And then I'll go back and be like, okay, let's reread the breakdown of the character. Okay, this is what we have in common, I think anyway. And then towards the end, it's like, now let's honor what they have for the breakdown, how they see this character, but not ever going too far from what I would bring, because no matter what, I'm always going to shine through.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's always going to be the truest thing ever. And so sometimes if they have something super specific that I don't necessarily like, can't bring out in me, because there's certain characteristics and I'm like, however I try, I can't. And I'm like, let me just bring that version of myself with a touch of that as much as I can. And usually I get good traction with that, because again, it's just still you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Through a filter.
If you are allowing yourself to come through.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people like are not, you know, a lot of actors are not, meaning that they're trying to be this other thing instead of like, you know, also, what do you do to be a nurse? Like, you know, are you you know what I mean? Like, just tell me about that part, you know? So, I love hearing this part. This is like nerdy for me.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, no, I love it.
It's like really kind of cool there. So,
and I find that like when I'm either going up on a line or I'm not connecting to it, I find when I look back, I'm like, I'm fighting what I would naturally do because of what I think should happen. Yeah. Because of based on the character breakdown or what it says in the script, right? Like if it's a stage direction or whatever. And usually when I go back to it, I'm like, it's because I'm ignoring my instinct here, because I'm trying to fulfill whatever stage direction they have here or whatever idea I have of what they wrote about the character, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. So, you know, at the end of that story, it's do you all.
No, for real.
It really is do you. And understanding that you're not going to book everything, but understanding that, like, wouldn't it be great if you kept putting yourself out there and one day it hit? You know what I mean? And it just was wonderful. So, Denise, I miss you already. Like, I feel like you've been so much fun. Like, you know what I mean? You know, getting into it. There's other stuff I didn't get into, Mayans and all that stuff. But, you know, I mean, you be out here moving and working at commercials.
Yeah, I try to stay busy. Try to stay busy through these times.
Yeah. I think that's one of the very interesting things that you're saying about trying to stay busy, because everybody thinks that actors are always busy. But like one of the big things about us, even when I was on Bosch, is that we had from December to July off. Right. And so if I didn't get on another show, I was just kicking it or living off that money, you know what I mean, for a bit. And everybody's like, well, you're on a show. And I was like, well, we shoot like 4 months, you know what I mean?
For real. Like you must be like so busy. It's like, yeah, for like 4 or 5 months out of the year after that, it's going back to the hustle, filling my time with like whatever feeds my soul, trying to stay active. And for me lately, it's been dancing, reading, just kind of trying to stay in it, trying to keep the brain moving, the body moving.
Sounds like you're actually also trying to keep your vibration high.
Yeah.
Right now. You're trying to make sure that everything that is coming to you is going to be on a different vibration. And so, but what you're doing right now is also being aware of that, because we don't want to like fall too low and then we miss the stuff that's up there that's coming for us as well. So
exactly.
It's good. Yeah. So thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you for having me. This was wonderful. This is
Wasn't
so
it fun?
good. Yeah, it was so fun. It's always so fun. It's always so fun talking to you. So being able to do this has been great.
Denise, you did that. Oh man, what a great talk. You left it all out there, and I appreciate that. There's just this moment in this episode that snuck up on me. It wasn't loud, it wasn't dramatic. I didn't hoop and holler. It was just something that I wrote down and circled on my paper as we were talking, Denise. And you know, here it is. It's just the quiet truth. This is what she said. It's hard to keep putting yourself out there when it feels like nothing's happening. I'm going to say it one more time. It's hard to keep putting yourself out there when it feels like nothing's happening. Listen, if you've been feeling that lately, I get it. I get it. Because that line, it holds 1,000 actor thoughts inside of it. Like, why am I taping if I'm not booking? How much longer can I keep showing up with no sign that this is working? Or am I actually in the game or just auditioning into the void? I've heard them all. When I'm sitting with you or I'm sitting with your fellow actors, heck, I've even said some of these thoughts. I've even had them. Like, it's more than frustration. It's kind of like an emotional whiplash kind of thing. Like, do you know what I mean? Like back and forth or emotional pickleball back and forth. This is it. 1 minute, you're full of belief. And the next, you're wondering if you just keeping busy so it doesn't feel like you've quit. Wow. You're just keeping busy so that it feels like you haven't quit. And that's where a lot of actors are right now. In that in between the hope and the doubt, between the submission and the silence, between the you that's trying and the version of you that wants to just freaking rest. You're not broken for feeling tired. You're not weak for wanting signs. That kind of silence, it tests your patience. It tests your faith. Because you start wondering, is this worth it? Am I delusional? Am I even any good at this? Because if I were, why hasn't this happened for me like it's happened for? You can go ahead and put somebody else's name in there because I've said it too. And I want to pause right here and say this. You're not crazy for feeling that way. You're not weak for admitting it's hard. You're not, insane for comparing sometimes, even though comparison is the thief of joy. That silence doesn't mean you're not good. It doesn't mean you're not wanted. It doesn't mean your time isn't coming. It just means you're in the gap. That place between the seeds you've planted and the moment they break the surface. I'm going to be honest with you. It's uncomfortable. It's lonely. And most people quit here. Most actors do. But not you. You know why? Because you're not just here for the clapping, the applause. You're here for the work. You're here for the story. You're here because something in you refuses to go numb. So hold on tight. Even if it's quiet. Especially if it's quiet. Even if it's slow. Even if no one sees it yet. You see it. I see it. I see you. You know how your parents say it, or that friend back home says, "You still doing that acting thing?" Yeah, you are. Keep choosing this thing. Keep choosing you. And I guess the very last thing I want to say is, just because you don't see something happening doesn't mean it's not. You already know what I'm going to say. Don't quit. Don't get out of line. Borrow my faith in you. And above all else, hold the vision, not the circumstance. I feel so honored to be here doing this with you again. Thank you so much, Denise. If this D12 shot has meant anything to you or anything in the episode, please share it. Please post it. That's how we find new listeners. It's because of you. I want to thank all of you that keep doing it. This is because of you that I'm finding new listeners, and I'm putting it out there because you are sharing it over and over and over again. And if you got a guest that you think I should, interview, send them my way. Send them to the thinkbiggeractorpodcast.com. And there's like a little feedback or survey or whatever on there. We're getting all high tech over this way. And I just can't wait to see you on the other side. Thank you so much.